I am doing well. Oh my gosh, it's been a year. Like, I'm sure you know, you've been feeling it too, but like,
Mhm.
whoa, there's just like such a big shift happening in the
Mhm.
world, but also just like, I feel like in my business too, and just like how I'm showing up and like what I'm sharing and all of those things. So
Mhm.
it's been a lot. Like, it's been a lot.
Yeah, it is. What do you feel like has been different in your biz?
Um, yeah, great question. I think for me, it's almost like moving. So, like, my journey and kind of starting with like coaching on like fat loss and um shrinking yourself, like losing weight.
Mhm.
And that was what I was coaching when I was in that part of my journey. And very quickly it kind of turned into like, whoa, like this isn't even in alignment for me anymore. Like, I don't track calories. Like, why am I telling my
Mhm.
clients to?
Mhm.
And so it's definitely moving into this space of more intuitive living and mindful living, eating, thinking, all of the things.
Mhm.
And just a lot more about like mental health, body image, and stepping into like our feminine and our power as women, which has been
Mhm.
something that like I'm on that journey right now. And that's just been what's most present in life for me.
But it's so interesting how you said like the feminine thing because I was listening to a podcast the other day. Do you know Susie Moore? She has like a second book out right now, and she's like
Okay.
such a good vibe person. And like her second book is called Let It Be Easy, and she was talking on a podcast about think back about like the times that you felt most successful in your life. How did it feel? And for me, I was just like running through the few times. I was like, oh, super like, relaxed, easy. Like I felt, definitely not forcing like in the masculine or anything. And
Mhm.
then the person who was hosting the podcast said, she was like, oh, for me, it was like in the feminine. And they were all talking about it. I was like, it's so freaking true. Like, I've never been at my most successful where I'm like, hustle, push, force, work, like so much.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's like this whole unlearning of the masculine structures that have really, like, created this narrative in our head that, like, we have to hustle,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, yeah, I don't know, it's super, like and this can show up, like, in any place too, like, are most of your listeners, are they, like, in the food and body, like, if they're working through their food and body stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So when I was studying like the psychology of nutrition and understanding like food and how we think about food and like who we are as an eater and all that stuff, like one of the most powerful things that my mentor literally ever shared was like tracking calories is a masculine approach of
Mm-hmm.
eating, and obviously intuitive eating is the feminine way.
Yeah.
And we live in a world that teaches women, especially, to not trust themselves. And
Mm.
then not only to not trust themselves, but not trust themselves to be able to know what to eat or to put in their
Yeah.
body or what they need. And so we must control portions or, all the other things. And then it leads us to not trust ourselves in other parts of life.
Mm.
So it's super fascinating when we like acknowledge like, okay, where are you on the spectrum of like hyper masculine, which I was. I came from like a very hyper masculine, like hustle, like do all the things, like made six figures in 8 months of my biz. Like it was fucking, I was like cranking out content, like
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And then on the other side of like, I need some serious time off. I'd like
Yeah.
time off social, time with myself, time in nature. And then like it's kind of about like finding that middle place of the balance between the two
Mm.
of like, hmm, hmm. And it's the dance, truly.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta do more of that dance.
I think we all I think that's the thing is we don't have to do more. It's like we have to be more. That's it. But like we can I mean, I've had that same like I've expressed that same thing of like, wait, we're trying to take a masculine approach to our feminine energy,
Mm.
which
Oh
is like,
yeah.
okay, well, what do I have to do? Tell me what to do. And it's like, no, that's no, you have to be.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's start the actual recording because I feel like I wish we had actually talked about that in the
Yeah,
recording.
let's just keep it. Let's just roll with it. Why
Okay.
not? Here's the
Okay.
beginning piece. I'm
Okay.
down.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Well, anyway, let's do the official welcome to
Yeah.
Sam. Guys, this is Sam. And I'll have said this in the intro before we started, but she was my business coach earlier this year, and I had such an awesome time and just like learned so much from you, and just like continue to like follow you on social media and like see all your stories, and I'm always so in awe of your energy. Like it's just such good vibes, and also you clearly really want to help people, and you're doing such an awesome job at it. So I figured let's have you on the podcast, talk about all sorts of stuff. Yeah, let's do this.
Hey. Well, thanks for having me,
Yeah,
and it's been a pleasure to work with you, and, I'm super excited to chat about all the things, and yeah, let's see where it goes.
let's do this. Okay, so usually I actually start with some fun, like quick fire questions to loosen
Okay,
things up
cool.
even more. So let's do this. So, favorite way to spend money?
Oof. I would say, like, so I love experiences. I'm really not a, like, I don't really like buying things that much. I went through that phase, but I'm in the phase of, like, having really dope experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I would say experiences. My birthday's in like 2 days, and I was like,
Oh,
how I wanna spend it is in a hot springs, like, just in absolute bliss, and I'm like, "That's how I wanna spend my money." I'm like, "I don't care if, like, I'm, like, eating, like, soup from a can, like, sometimes, but, like, I'm like, "I don't care, that's fine."
sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Okay, what makes you feel powerful?
Ooh, I would say the place I feel the most powerful, like the environment, is hiking. Like
Mm,
I feel like I'm on top of the world. I have so much clarity on what I'm here to do, say, be, etc. Like it's just I can really get that like grand vision and get out of the weeds, get out of my head. So I would say totally hiking. And then I also like the setting of podcasting. I
mhm,
love speaking. I feel so
mhm.
powerful using my voice. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. So like podcasting and like YouTubing, which I've just started. Those are
Oh
definitely
yeah,
2
I
of
saw,
those.
I saw.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yes.
I can so feel the hiking thing as well. Like for me, when I go hiking, nothing there's like all the worries go away. I'm not thinking like, oh, how do I look right now? What are people thinking of me? I'm just like one foot in front of the other. Let's like explore this place and just feel strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like your inner child comes out. Like I
Mhm.
have a really like I love my inner child and she's definitely like a wild child. And so I think when I'm back in like her essence, I just feel like I can do like I'm unstoppable. Like I am fucking infinite. I am pure potential.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, how about three things that you love about yourself?
Mm, 3 things. Okay, 1 is I do have a really big heart, so that's something I used to be ashamed of actually, like, that I just had a lot of love, like and especially in business, weirdly enough, like, I
Mhm.
thought that business had to be very, like, "Pew, pew, pew," but actually I'm just
Yeah.
like, I just, like, wanna love you, like, I just wanna create these little mini families and, like, all my offerings feel like fam and, like, wanna hang out and give you a hug, like so really embracing that, my big heart. I would say my energy. Yeah, I do like I mean, I think that it's easy to be critical of yourself and like judge yourself for being too much, but I do love that I have a lot of energy. Like it's a blessing and a curse. I have to manage it or else I can self-destruct, but I do have a lot of energy for sure. And number 3 would be ooh. I think so I just learned that I have ADHD,
Mhm.
and a lot of my life has made sense since getting that diagnosis, but one of the big things that has come from that is, like, this ability to create just create, like, I could create all day long, like, I have an abundance of ideas and creations, and I just never run out, like, I actually have, like it's like
That's
I have so
awesome.
many, Yeah, so that I would say like those are the top 3 I can think of right now.
Awesome. I actually, you saying that you have this abundance of ideas, it sprung to mind when we had a few like one-to-one calls and you would just like come up with all these ideas, like content. I was like, damn, writing this shit down.
That is one of my favorite things actually is like helping coaches or creators come up with ideas for their content. Cause I'm like, that is like, you're so funny, like blah, 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 like just like taking your personality and like turning
Yeah.
it in. Yeah, it's super fun.
So cool. So going into, you started your business as it was like fat loss, personal training. Was that it?
Yeah, yeah, I was doing, like, personal training and, like, I kinda that this was before the land of, like, I need to put an I help statement in my bio, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
I still don't
Mm-hmm.
even know if I have that in my bio right now, I don't know. Now I'm like, "Fuck the rules," but, like, for me, it was personal training and, like, nutrition coaching, which everyone's goal was, like, "I wanna lose weight." So, I was like, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool."
Right. And so, and that sort of like morphed over time into different things. Um, I guess
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is it seems like there's kind of still been like the body image or something like related to body sort of like interwoven all throughout.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know what your body image journey has been.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you're right in like noticing that. Thank you. And I think the real journey is like about being seen, and
Mhm.
whether it's being seen as a business owner, being seen at like just just stepping into your power and like taking up the space.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I can share like kind of growing up what that was like and like my
Mhm.
experience and what led me into this space. So, yeah, growing up, I was super multi-passionate. Like, I played soccer, softball, I danced, like, I did everything. I did, like, theater, I was, like, wherever. And I was always, like, confident in myself until I started dancing,
Mhm.
because, like, you can imagine, right? Like, the dancer body, right? It's, like, kinda this tall, super lean, like, blonde, blue-eyed, perfect
Mm.
skinny girl, and like that's what I knew to be beautiful. Like I just wanted to be that. And I was like the shortest girl. Like I was like 4 foot something when everyone was like in the 5 feet, and like I was always like tiny, you know, I was tiny. And so I created that story of like I don't feel good enough, and I was just there was like I had a lot of self-esteem issues and comparison issues. And also now looking back on all of that, like my ADHD probably played into that because there's a lot that goes into that with like emotional overwhelm and like feeling like a failure and like all these things. And that was literally how I felt my whole life. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know anything but that. And so basically, like it got me into a really unhealthy relationship with food where I wouldn't say I was like binging because I don't think I even knew what that word was, but I
Mhm.
just was eating when I wasn't hungry, like a lot. And especially in college,
Yeah.
like in my teens, but in college, like I went to school for architecture. So the program I was in, like it was really intense. It was a 4 year undergrad, and then I did a year for my master's, and I was just so fucking overwhelmed all the time,
Mm.
and there was so much to do and like not enough time and like and I would just turn to food to help me feel better, you know, and like for the dopamine probably because I was just
Hell yeah.
so I was working. And all I wanted to do was like be perfect, right? Like I wanted to look perfect, I wanted to act perfect, I wanted to be the best student, like I wanted to be the best. And
Mhm.
so that led me to a pretty unhealthy relationship with food, my body. After college, like I had probably gained about, I didn't gain the freshman 15, I gained like the freshman 30 something.
Oh yeah,
And
me
like,
too.
yeah, it was just like, it turned into me like just wearing like really baggy clothes.
Mm.
And I was so ashamed of my body. Like, but I would never admit it. Like, I was like, I'm happy, right? Like on the outside, I was good. Um, but I wasn't. Like I was constantly seeking external validation, and I felt like I needed to like fix myself. And like there was so many things. Like I was people pleasing all over the place. Like I I couldn't validate myself because I truly didn't believe I was good enough.
Yeah.
And I hated my body. And that just led me into like a very deep, like, I don't know that in the moment I ever identified it as depression, but I was definitely depressed. Like, if I think
Mhm.
back, I like read through my journals, and this was like 2013, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God. Like, I had written notes that I was like, this is like a suicide note. Like,
Wow. Wow.
oh my God. And I had no support. Like, because I was like, I can't reach, like, I would have never, that would have been weak, right? Like, I would have been weak to
Mhm.
reach out for support. And yeah, so like that was like my total low. And I was in my architecture job and I wasn't fulfilled and I was kind of getting bored. And I was like, this is not how I want to help people. And one of my actually my boss, who I have like since told her that this happened, but she made a comment about my body and was like, wow, like, Sam, you're a lot more fit than you look. And
Oh
she just kind
god.
of like said it casually, right? Like, I know she didn't
Yeah.
mean to hurt me, but that was the comment that fueled the fire for me. I
Mm.
immediately was like, because no one had ever told me that the truth, right? Like, I was a lot more fit than I looked. And I was like, fuck that shit. No. Right. And I used that comment and I went ham in the gym. I started working out, started taking classes. I started getting really strong. I started getting into nutrition. And then I ended up losing like 30 pounds.
Mhm.
And I was like fucking jacked. I was like, yo, look at me, look how hot I am. Like, oh my God. Right. And I was getting all the validation and it felt so good. And you know the whole
Yes.
story, right? You get all the
Yes.
compliments, like, oh my God. And then somebody else made a comment. This is how much like I'm dictated by the external circumstances. And he was like, well, you're not going to be able to maintain this, right? Then I internalized that, and that's where my self-sabotage journey began, which was like,
Mm.
I can't sustain this. He's right. And then I started uh binging and then needing to go to the gym even more. So I was working out
Mhm.
like probably 8 to 9 times a week. Like, I was doing double
Wow.
sessions.
Wow.
And then yeah, and I was powerlifting, which like powerlifting is like you're supposed to fucking chill on your off days. I wasn't doing that. And then I would binge eat on the weekends, and then I would track calories Monday through Friday and like do the whole thing. And then it just got so out of control. And I competed in powerlifting, and I had to like do the like water test, to like
Yeah.
basically like dry yourself out. And I got down to like my lowest weight of like 121 or 3 pounds or something. And I was like, damn, I look so good, blah, blah, blah. But I was like fucking starving. I haven't
Wow.
eaten in a day, hadn't drank water in a day. My pee was like neon yellow. Like, it was like all of the things that were like red flag, red flag. And I was like, green flag, yeah, this is good. Like, and yeah, so after the powerlifting situation, started to like not be as obsessed with the gym because I was like, whoa, that was like a lot. My body's tired. And I got injured, hurt my back, and realized like I can't live in fear anymore. Like, I was so fucking scared of food and I was so scared to not work out. Like, I was
Mhm.
scared. I was relying on both of those things to like I was relying on tracking calories and lifting weights to help me control my body because everything else in my life just felt so out of control. And yeah, so then my journey to like, okay, we're going all in. Like, I don't want to binge eat anymore. I'm so sick of feeling like this. Like, yes, I can live like this, but I don't want to. Like, I want to feel freedom. I want to feel what it means to just not think about food 24/7. Like, I know it's possible. I've seen other people do it. I'm fucking scared to gain weight and get fat and ugly and have nobody love me, but I don't even care anymore. Like, I just didn't want to live in that fear. So in 20 I think like 2019, end of 2019, I like committed to it and I was like, I'm not tracking calories anymore. I know how many calories are in something I've been tracking for goddamn long enough.
Yeah.
Um and I went in, like, I didn't even go in with a strategy because I didn't have a coach at the time either. Like I didn't have anyone. I was just like, fuck it, we're going in.
Mhm.
And so 2020 was like the year that I realized like, wow, I had an eating disorder and I had body dysmorphia, and I also had a very like I had such an obsession with over exercising and food and being healthy that it turned into not being healthy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm a health and wellness coach. Well, no, I'm a fat loss coach, but despite and or like without even regard to health and wellness. Like,
Mm.
and that was a moment where I realized I can't do this anymore. I can't like this is not an integrity for me to teach or coach on this way of eating anymore because it literally fucked me up so hard. And then not to mention like, which I'm sure you can relate to this, being a coach or just being a leader in the space, like people look at you all fucking day, right? Like your body's on the internet and it's like this pressure to like keep up and like
Mm.
have the nicest abs and whatever. And I was just like, oh my God, like it's never gonna be good enough. It's never gonna be good enough. And I definitely like gave away all of my power to everything outside of me. So yeah, end of 2019 into early 2020, realized like, whoa, this isn't just like a small food thing. It's like an actual like this is like mental health. This is costing me mental health.
Yeah.
Went all in, and I don't know how much weight I gained because I never like weighed myself. But I definitely like I don't know. I'm a small person. Like I'm 5'1" and I have like a tiny bone structure, right? But like
Mhm.
I normally I was wearing like a 2 to a 4, like a size 2 to
Mhm.
4, and I went up to like probably like a size 8 to 10. And I was
Mhm.
like, I need to do this. I don't care. I literally don't. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter if people don't think my body's good enough because I just want to love my body. I want to be happy in it. I want to feel at home in it, you know? So that has been my journey since 2020 to now, is learning how to intuitively eat, to not track anything, and also to intuitively move my body. Like
Yeah.
trust that I don't need to like lift weights Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, like I can, but the thing that I've noticed that's been serving me a lot more is actually just like moving my body in some way every day. Um,
Mhm.
and that might be weights and it might be yoga and it might be hiking and moving away from this like masculine hustle your face off, like go, 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 do, 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 which like my nervous system is just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do
Yeah.
it. Like just having emotional shutdown. So that has been my journey. And now I'm really talking a lot about like taking your power back around food and taking your power back around the systems that make women feel like they need to either shrink or
Mhm.
stay small or like not speak up, not use their voice. And for me, food was just a way to cope with like me not actually stepping into my power, me
Mhm.
not stepping into like the truth, which was like, I'm a badass.
Mm.
And yeah, so now that's what I'm like very passionate about, is realizing all these pieces. Like it's not just the physical body, it's the physical, it's the emotional, it's the mental, it's the spiritual. And it's like this journey of coming home to our true selves and knowing like food is sometimes just something to help us ease the pain.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. What a story. Damn. And it all like happened even like, well, first of all, it happened while you were coaching, right? So like you had all these realizations and I feel like you had the courage to actually like step out of that role that you had put yourself into as this like fat loss coach who was deep down like really struggling herself, and to actually have the courage to like change, like switch up gears and allow
Yeah.
yourself to gain weight and like let go of all those like masculine tracking control mechanisms. It's funny that you said trying to allow yourself to have more of that feminine relationship with food, because it really
Hmm.
made me realize that the turning point for me with my food relationship, it basically was just allowing the feminine in. It was when I started dating my ex, my sorry, not ex, my now boyfriend.
Is this
And
foreshadowing? We
it's a
love you,
premonition.
boyfriend.
And I guess I kind of, like sat back into the feminine role a little bit more because he was there like, cooking me meals and stuff. And I was just going with the flow more in life and feeling more relaxed. And yeah, not forcing myself to, because at that time I was doing like weights like 4 or 5 times a week. And I
Yeah.
just kind of pressed pause on it
Yeah.
and let all of that go, let the obsession with weight go. And it was amazing how easy things can be when you kind of let go of all these things that you hold on to, thinking that they're gonna like be the answer. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The like letting go of the attachment piece has been like a huge theme for me recently
Mm-hmm.
too. Again, of
Mm-hmm.
like, ooh, surrendering and just being like, it's okay. Like also our bodies are like meant to change. And it's like, when you like look back at a photo of yourself and you're like, why did I ever think I was fat? And
Yes.
then you're like, oh, so this is not about the body. This is about the mind.
Yeah, definitely. On that note, actually, like in the process of allowing yourself to gain weight or let your body do whatever it needed to do, how did you navigate that? Like, how did it feel mentally and physically? Because I know so many of the listeners are probably going through that process right now and just need like
Mhm.
some reassurance as well.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to pause right there for a minute to share something with you. So if you've been listening so far and feel like you're ready to start your recovery journey with me, I've got the perfect springboard. That is my free masterclass, Why You're Still Binge Eating and How to Stop. It's a 35-minute free video masterclass where I'll walk through all of the reasons you might still be binging. Then I'll give you 3 actionable steps to stop binge eating. So if you're looking for actual results in your life, want to never binge again, trust me, I know the feeling. I was stuck for 10 years doing that. Then head to the show notes to get instant access today. I'll also gift you something for joining me at the masterclass, but I'll leave that surprise for you to find out for yourself. Life is just so damn short, and it's not worth feeling so miserable, unhappy, unhealthy with binging taking over. So watch the masterclass today to start your new life. Okay, let's get back into the show.
Well, I think the number one thing was like trusting in the process. Like I knew that other people had done it and they didn't die. Like, cause that's kind of how it feels is like
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna die. Like it really felt for me like I'm going to become unlovable. And like for anyone that's listening that's a business owner or like aspiring, like my business is gonna fail because I'm not as fit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really scary. Like I I hid my body. I didn't even want to share that it was happening because I felt really ashamed of it, and I I didn't know what to do because like all of my friends were in the fat loss industry and I was like moving away, and I was like moving
Right.
to more like holistic or like spiritual approach. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but I'm like I can't even like share this with them because they're still trying to control their food and their body. So I just had to trust that there were other people out there, and I started following them to
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of get in their head and be like, it is okay. Like it's gonna be okay. And I'm not going to like turn into this like 1,000 pound blob. Like I'm not gonna become like fat and lazy, like because that's not who I am as a person, and like yeah, my body might change, but like my heart doesn't, my energy doesn't, like what I have to
Mm-hmm.
say doesn't. And so I think that was one of the first things. And then secondly was like doing a wardrobe cleanse. Just like stop fucking holding on to clothes that really just don't fit you anymore, because like no matter where you are in your journey, it's just gonna make you feel like shit. Like I have a pair of
Always.
shorts that I just got rid of because I was like, why am I holding on to these? I'm literally holding on to these when I fit into them again.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if I never fit into them? Like, stop. I like just so moving into the present moment of like, do all of my clothes fit me and make me feel like a queen? If they don't, gotta go.
Yeah. I
So
feel
doing a
like
wardrobe
even holding
cleanse.
on to those, like, is you subconsciously saying that where you're at right now is not okay, and we're secretly trying to get back to that place because that place is better.
Yes, totally, totally. But then I think about it and I'm like, it's funny how the mind can like pretend and like mask all the pain you were feeling when you were in that body. You might have looked a certain way, but you were fucking miserable. You were thinking about food all the time. You couldn't be present. You couldn't go to social gatherings. You couldn't be in a bathing suit because you would literally pick every single part of you apart. Like, and so, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show like, it's truly like, how can we surrender to the present moment and like let go of the I wish or I should haves and just make peace with what is. So that's probably like the third piece is like making peace with it, you know, like realizing like society puts so much pressure on us to look a certain way. And it's like, who the fuck cares? Like, who cares? Who cares? And I have to remind myself of this like basically daily.
Yeah,
Like
me too.
I don't want to pretend like I'm this like I've made it, guys. No, it's like it is a constant daily practice, especially as a woman, because
Yeah.
it's not like the magazines are changing to be sensitive to like it's yes, there's like some effort, but we can't undo like decades and like so many generations of trauma around body.
Hell yeah.
So that's now when like that's the work I'm really doing is actually doing like a lot of like now I just consider it healing. Like it's not trying to change my body. It's like healing. It's feeling safe in my body. It's healing my body. It's you know, like strengthening my connection to myself and to my intuition and trusting myself and all of that. And as a byproduct, like, yeah, maybe I'll lose some weight. I don't know, but that's no longer the thing that I care about anymore.
Yeah. When you were on that journey,
Yeah.
because you have a boyfriend, right? How
A fiance.
Oh,
like fiance now.
Oh my god, I forgot. Congrats.
Yep. You welcome.
That's so cool. So
yeah.
how was it with him? Like, did you have any thoughts of like, oh my god, what is he gonna think?
So it's interesting because I don't think I actually like shared what was really going on with him because like we were living this was like beginning of COVID, so it was like super close quarters. And I think I was ashamed of what was going on because he saw me like the way he met me was like this super fit, like personal trainer, nutrition code, blah, blah, blah. And like when I would go to his house, like I would just like literally binge eat his food because like he would have food that I wouldn't have at my place.
Yeah.
And so I already felt the layer of shame for that. But then secondly, I was like, I didn't have the feeling like he wasn't going to love me, but I had this it was just shame around like him, like my decisions. I was literally just like ashamed of myself and that was it. Like I kind of knew like he wouldn't care. I just had such a hard time saying it. And then I literally only told him like after or like kind of while I was in like my all in phase of just like I'm eating spoonfuls of fucking icing. And I was like, Kurt, I'm just letting you know, like I restricted sugar for myself for the past 7 years. So if I eat all this frosting, I'll get you some more. And he just like kind of laughed and like didn't get it. And I was like, whatever. Like, and I just ate it all. And then I bought him a new one and I was like, thanks. you know, and like, I think like honestly, him just like loving me and accepting me unconditionally throughout the process was one of the really probably the most impactful ways that I was actually able to heal because he didn't make me feel bad. He didn't say I was like, oh, you're gaining weight or like he has never made a comment about my body except like, I love your butt, you know, or like he's only said good things. And so I think just having like that supportive partner for me was like so important for me loving myself and accepting myself.
Oh yeah, I can so relate to that. I was just thinking that so even after I stopped binge eating and like food felt way easier and everything, I'll still have like the moments where I'm like, okay, I just want to have some like cookie dough or something.
Yeah.
And probably eat more than the normal person would. I just really love cookie dough.
I do too.
And so I when I first started eating it in front of my boyfriend, because that was one of my hugest binge foods. And so I had so much like shame around just eating it. Like, oh, you're not supposed to eat just cookie dough. Like this is a binge thing. This is a bad thing. And so I had so much shame around eating it in front of him. And that, so in practicing that more and more, even to this day, there's still a part of me that's like thinking like, oh, I hope he doesn't like make a comment or something. So I almost make the comment first, like, yeah, I know I'm eating cookie dough. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Dude,
But
I have totally done that. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just judging myself. I'm literally just
exactly.
judging myself. Like yesterday, Kurt had like literally 2 cheeseburgers. And if I was to do that, like I don't have the appetite for 2 cheeseburgers. And also like not right now, but like I would have like wanted to almost explain myself.
Yeah.
Like, right? To be like, oh, like I'm not a fat slob, like
Mm-hmm.
because of the constructs around like how we should eat, which is basically like sitting at a table with a salad and a smile, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, but sometimes I want to do a spoonful of cookie dough or 5.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like it has been a practice in just like letting myself eat those foods and not have to explain myself.
Yes.
I feel like that is, as you said, like in itself just a way to release that shame, which is
Yeah.
like felt so heavy for so long. Just to be
Yes.
like, okay, even like on my platform when I kind of like tell stories of things I used to do or things I still think about my body, whatever, just being able to say that, it's like people respond back and they're just like, thank you so much for your honesty in telling that story, because I relate so much and I've never heard anyone say it in that kind of detail. I'm like, girl, I know, like for example, oh, this is so funny, but I asked Luca, my boyfriend, the other day, I was like, what's one of the most disgusting foods you've ever eaten? And I forgot what he said, like whatever, some like normal edible food.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
he was like, how about you? And I was like, oh, I don't know if you count it as food, but like Nutella with like dishwashing liquid sprayed all over it, because I used to like throw in the bin during a binge, be like, no, I can't have it. I'd spray it with like detergent and then I'd take it back out and like try to dig away the detergent and still eat the food.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, and he was just like, what? And I was like, you wouldn't get it. He's like, no, explain it. And I was like explaining it. But I was like, oh God, this is so embarrassing. But
Dude,
a part of me
I
was
have
like released.
I have totally taken food out of the trash before. But like I don't think it had dishwasher, like that's fucking hilarious. I'm like mine's probably had like I don't know, like other gunk on it,
Yeah.
but like or like dude, like eating off of somebody's plate like in your family or like at home. It's like they're like done with their food, right? Like they'll put it on like the counter and then you'll like be cleaning up and you'll just be like, why am I eating the food that was like half in their mouth?
And so that person, I love like the sauce, like in any dish.
Yes.
And my boyfriend always leaves it, and I'll like always take his bowl and just like lick it clean every time. It's like, oh, here, take my bowl.
I'm like, I am that person. I'm that girl.
Okay, so I feel like I really want to switch gears because I'm so curious about business. Like your business is just thriving and it's like taken off so incredibly well. Like I'm just amazed at I guess just like not only the speed but like the quality with which you've done it. Clearly really helping people and just such a good person. So so I guess one question I have that's also personally maybe a selfish question to ask, but you know that I've struggled with this, but like what would you say to people who feel like they attach a lot of their self-worth to, I guess, either like their financial success, their business, or even like their body shape? How can you I guess just like detach that?
Yeah, totally. Well, first, thanks for the reflection. And it's like, you see that in me because that's who you are too. So it's
Oh.
like, yeah. And well, I want to be clear. So the like, your business is thriving and everything is going great. Like, I want to be real honest with you in this
Mhm.
moment, which is like right now, it feels like it's not. Like,
Mhm.
from the outside, right? Like, yeah, I have I have amazing clients. I do. And like I have made a lot of money, air quotes, I guess. Like it's such a
Mhm.
like subjective thing, right? Um but right now I am very much in like a going deep within myself, soul searching, like what is it that I'm actually here to say. And I know it's a lot of things, but it's like, okay, great. Like getting out of my head around any labels or any past certifications, my entire experience, my life experience. What is it that I'm really supposed to be speaking about,
Mhm.
and trusting that and like going inward to find that. So like business for me recently in the past, I would even say year, has been so much like confusion. And I'm like, how have I made as much money, right? Or impacted as many people? And I haven't even known exactly what it is.
Mhm.
And what I found to be true is that it's not even what I'm saying or teaching on as much as it is like who I'm being,
Mhm.
both on and off social. And I think that's just been scary. Like it's kind of that like the going from like tracking calories to not and like gaining weight. I'm very much in that transition in this like black hole of an unknown of I'm moving away from hustling and
Mhm.
doing and always teaching and teaching like to just flowing, allowing, and like kind of dancing between those two things. And so that being said, like the thing that has anchored me in has been, I feel like 2 to 3 things. I can kind of like do my best to break it down, like patterns I've noticed.
Mhm.
One is like consistently showing up. Um, that will triumph all the things. Like it will. Like in order to build a business, in order to just put yourself out there, like you have to show up even when it's hard, even when it sucks, even when you don't want to, because it's not about you. Like your business is not about you. And anytime I make my business about me, it feels like kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Because it's not like I'm creating the business to help people. And so as soon as it comes back to me, it's like, this is operating at an ego.
Mhm.
So leading with service, and consistently is definitely the first piece. And then secondly is, I think something is like for me is like not pretending to be perfect.
Mhm.
Um, I I really like I am definitely not a perfectionist anymore. And it feels really good to say that. Like I see it showing up in certain ways, but I was like, holy shit, perfectionist, control freak, crazy. And I'm really not anymore. Like one of my biggest mantras is like good enough is good enough. Like
Mhm.
and I, it's just like it's something that has really gotten me out of my head and
Mhm.
into creation. And I know that like perfectionism is like it's just a protection mechanism, right? So it's like take all the shit out of your drafts and post it on your page and just share it. Like, because like so much of your content is probably gonna just like not land until it
Oh, yeah.
does,
Yeah.
like, and it's really easy to get attached to the metrics and be like, I'm not cut out for this. Fuck. And it's like, yes, you are. Stop. I had this thought earlier today, dude. Like,
Mhm.
I posted a reel and I'm like, waiting. And then I'm like, whoa, don't like that energy. I'm not waiting around. Like, I'm posting it and moving on with my life, right? Because I'm going to do it again tomorrow and I'm going to do it again the next day. And knowing that, like, every piece of content is not a gold mine. Like, we aren't that special. you know?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last thing is like treating people like humans,
Mhm.
like seeing, like letting, like not feeling like your service or your offer is like here to fix people. It's like,
Mhm.
yo, peeps aren't broken. Like if they want the support and they want to be in your energy and they want the thing, cool. But I've always taken a really laid back approach to like sales.
Mhm.
Um, like, and it's been great for me because I'm not like I don't like the like salesy selling. Like I like it to be like a personal like a combo, right? Like I'm really
Mhm.
like I want to understand you. I want to understand if you'd be a good fit. I want to understand like why you think you would be a good fit. Like I want to understand all the things. And like I think service leads to wealth. It's not like when money becomes the number one priority, then we lose ourselves. And it's like
Mhm.
coming back to the place of service, which it's just really easy in the land of the gram to get distracted by seeing people hitting 5-figure, 6-figure, whatever fucking months. And I totally am guilty of that. Like, dude, I had a 50K month in whatever month it was, March, no, May, April, I don't know. And all my only goal then was like, okay, gotta hit 60, gotta hit that. And then I was like, what the F? Whoa, like I had to step back. And then like the next month was like 30, and like the next month was like 20, and then it was like a 15. And I'm like, this doesn't mean I'm failing. This is like I'm doing some fucking serious soul growth right now. And
Mhm.
the success, like the feelings of success that I want to feel, for me personally, I realize that money is no longer my caliber of success. It's alignment. It's like inner peace. And it's also for me community. Like community is my abundance. When
Mhm.
when people are in and they're doing their thing and they're together, that makes me feel 100 times more expansive, more abundant, more free, more alive than seeing a number in my bank account. And I mean, I love money. Like I want to make money and I want to earn money, but
Mhm.
for me, the true abundance is community. And I don't know, I think just people feel that, right? Like when you
Mm.
are serving from that place. So I've been doing a lot of introspection around like, am I out of integrity anywhere? Like, is there any place where my process or like the way that I talk to people or even the way I make content can be from a more like soft, like heart centered place
Mhm.
rather than a you're wrong or you need this thing, you know? And
Mhm.
just sharing from the heart more. So,
Mm. Such wisdom. I feel like, as you said, it's this is like my biggest advice is seeing, like, comparing the numbers to other people
mhm,
on Instagram, especially like, yeah, like 5-figure month, 6-figure month, da, da, da. And I'm just you and I have to keep reminding myself that you only are going to hear those like great anomaly success stories. Like no one's out there being like, yo, had a 4K month, had a 3K month. Like no one's saying that. And then so you're kind of just it it's I go through phases where it's like sometimes I'm really inspired by those stories. I'm like, yes, like I can be that too. If she can, why can't I? And then some
mhm,
months I'm like, fuck, I can't even see the Explorer page because I'm just like, no, it's so triggering to see. And then that it reminds me, like my boyfriend was saying a similar thing as what you just said is, when you make the primary thing the money, first of all, you start acting out of alignment. And
mhm,
also you kind of forget obviously why you first started, like actually helping people.
yeah,
And you forget all of the actually amazing things going on right now. Like one of the main reasons I started a business was because I wanted more freedom of like location and time and schedule. And I literally have all those things. And sometimes you just completely forget everything that you have because you're so bogged down on this number. And it can like really start to dictate your, well, for me, when it's like a quote unquote bad month,
mm,
my mood is like completely down the whole month. And
mm.
that's something like I've just got to get out of because obviously it's just like it's not a nice place to be in.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like asking yourself like, why? Like,
Mm,
what's the belief under that, right? Because it's not actually like the situation, it's like there's a belief under there that's like if I don't make blank, I'm not successful, or like what's the story under the situation that's making you
mm.
feel like shit.
I feel like part of it is wanting to be like successful by this metric because my family, like my daddy's super successful, like my brothers, and I always kind of like felt like I was had good potential to be successful, whatever that means, like good in school, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's this part of me that's like, maybe you actually like can't make it. Like maybe you're not going to be able to do this, even though you really want to. And so when there's a bad month, it's like, see, you know what, maybe you're not cut out for this, and you should just go back to having a job and being a data scientist and sell your soul again.
This is a very normal part of entrepreneurship that's not talked about, that like as we're speaking, I'm like, I think this is actually what I want to talk about. Like the messy shit that most business coaches, like I don't really even consider myself a business coach. I'm like, I just get you fucking into alignment. It's like you're and like people don't want to talk about that. You know, I'm like, dude, I had like fucking 16 emotional breakdowns this month, and it's normal. Like, remember when I asked in our group, like,
I
so
remember.
how many times have you guys cried this week? And it was like Tuesday, and everyone was like 3, 1, 5. And I'm like, yeah,
Literally.
yeah, this is normal. And the reason why I think that there's entrepreneurs right now or coaches that don't feel like they are cut out for this is because they are comparing themselves
Yeah.
to the success story, not the behind the scenes.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's like, I think for you too, like when you're talking about like your family being successful, it's like, who are you still proving yourself to? That's one of the most powerful questions I've ever asked myself. Like, who am I still proving myself to? Right? Like, is it like an old mentor of mine? Is it like my dad? Like, is it Kurt? Like, who am I who am I trying to prove myself to? And where can I take my power back and know like I am exactly where I need to be. And everything is happening in divine timing. And also, every time I get frustrated, there's a lesson. And it's like, what's the lesson? What's the lesson? What's the lesson? For me, the lesson right now is actually less creating and more like pouring into myself, which feels counterproductive to be successful. But I don't know, that's just what I keep getting. I keep like feeling that intuitively, like saying like, just go hike. Like you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I keep having that kind of feeling too, like, do just work like 3 or 4 hours less than a day than what I'm doing. Like stop working all the way from when it's dark to when it's dark, and like pushing and like creating so much shit. And but then there's a part of me that's like, no, but you've got to, because like you're not at that level yet where you can relax. Like you do have to hustle.
Yeah, that's the belief. Is I can't relax. It's like not safe to relax. And
Yeah.
that's a like that's I mean, it could be a nervous system thing. It's also like it could be a trauma response. It could be just a belief, but whatever it is, it's like now you know that it's there and now you can change it. And it's like it could just be like it's safe for me to have fun. It's safe for me to relax. One of my biggest mantras in business is the more fun I have, the more money I make. And when I literally I always like my Stripe payments or like my bank account or whatever, like when
Yeah.
it gives me little notifications, it's always when I'm either sleeping in the bathtub, like having sex, hiking, like it's never ever when I am
Same.
working.
It's the exact same. In fact, it was last Friday. I was at a friend's house with my boyfriend, and we were drinking. We were like a bit tipsy. It was like 1 or 2 a.m. And I randomly look at my phone, and I had like a payment come through, and I was like, "Hey guys, cheers to that!"
Yes. Yes. And it's like allowing ourselves to like experience pleasure, you know, and that has been so programmed out of women, but all of us, right? And it's like the feminine is the play and the fun and the softness and the ease and the flow. And it's like, okay, if it showed up for you with food, it did for me, it's going to show up in every other part of your life. So, how can you lean more into trust, lean more into play and fun, or connecting with your inner child? That it's like, truly, that is the work. Like, that's what we're doing in my business mentorship right now. We're
Yeah.
tapping into this like frequency of the feminine and in like what it means to lead a business with from your body, not your mind. And that's like a totally foreign concept when we've just grown up with like such hustle and doing and forcing and pushing. And I just like at a certain point just can't do it anymore, you know?
Yeah. 100%. I think also the, you know, like the capitalist belief of like work harder, you know, the more you work, the more money you're going to make. And it's so obviously not true, but that's still something that's definitely like feeding into my actions as well, that I have to like let go of, that you're still scared to let go of, because you're like, but then everyone else is still going to be working that much and you're not, so they're going to get ahead and you're not going to meet your goals, and like, but you have so much that you need to do in so little time. It's just like, letting go.
So it's like, for me, the solution, air quotes, that I found is the only reason why you're scared is because you're scared about what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. You're fine right now. And when we just literally come back to what do I need to do today, like day one, every day is day one. That's it. Like, it's just literally coming back to the present moment and being like, you don't need to like reverse, like if your goal is making $1 million, great, set it, but let it go and just take one day at a time. You don't need to set the goal and then reverse engineer it and be like, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't work for women.
Oh, that is so, I literally did that on the 1st of January this year. I was like, this month will be this, that month will be this, and this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah. I just recorded a YouTube video on why I no longer set goals and I set milestones, which that has just been a really powerful shift of like letting go of the timeline and taking inspired action every day, whether that's taking a fucking bath for 2 hours or if it's creating a post or whatever. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I could go on for hours, but obviously we've hit the hour mark. So to wrap this up, I actually have one final question. What do you feel like your future self would tell the you now?
Oh, okay. So my future self is my current self. I just heard this quote and I was like, interesting, quantum, meta, whoa. And for me, it's like, go have more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Go have more fun.
Amazing. Amazing. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm now, I got all the things, but I kind of share my handle. So my handle on Instagram is at Sam Altieri. And if you put it in the bio, then I don't have to spell it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have my own podcast, which is the Sam Altieri Show. And we talk about all things feminine energy, manifestation, mindset, body image, business. Like, it's literally all of it. It has some dope experts on. And then just started my YouTube channel. So you can just like search my name, and that's been super fun. I've been like loving that. So we'll see what happens, but awesome. I'm going where the fun is.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and all of this wisdom and just good vibes.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And you guys listening, feel free to reach out, DM me. I love hearing from you. So my DMs are open.
Awesome. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Bye.